Let's analyze what happened in the stock market today, Tuesday, February 22, 2022. This is a daily chart of the S&P 500. Today was a big sell-off. I mentioned in the previous video, I mentioned I was going to pay attention to that 4,300 level for a possible bounce around that area. Well, it dipped below that, but I didn't like the price patterns, so I did not buy. I did not see a good setup, so no setup, no trade for me. Levels that I'll be watching tomorrow will be that level, same zone, around 4,300. If for some reason we open much higher, say above 4,350, then very unlikely I'm going to participate. So the bounce will keep going without me. I do not think I would buy above 4,350. It would be very close to the descending 5-day moving average plus all these pivot points. So the risk to reward ratio is not there for me. So I would skip it if that's the case. I do want to participate in this bounce. So I will be watching price patterns in real time very closely tomorrow. The Nasdaq 100, big sell-off also. What was more interesting about this one was that it bounced off this level, which was a low from a few weeks ago, and it finished way above that level, about 200 points above that level. Whether this is a bottom, a quick bounce or not, we'll see. But also, same as the S&P 500, I did not like the price patterns, so I decided not to participate yet. If tomorrow we gap up much higher, say above 14,000, chances are I will not participate in this bounce. If, however, we end up opening lower, I think there's still a good chance to find a good reversal or a good pattern where I can play the bounce. I think we're a little oversold. This was very strong support. The path of least resistance still down, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Dow Jones Industrial Average. This one looked like the weakest of all the indices. Big sell-off. Dip below major pivot points. Path of least resistance for this one is definitely down also, but it seems like a little oversold. Dropped down too much too fast from this level to here in 3 trading sessions. So I would expect any bounce anytime now. I think this one has so much momentum to the downside that all these pivot points are not very significant. And as I mentioned, it can just bounce from any level anytime now. Philadelphia Semiconductor Index. This one was the strongest of all the indices. Did not drop much. Seems like he likes this level between here and here. Just between 33.50 and 33.25. This one can quickly push above these moving averages, and all of a sudden it will look very good. Where the path of least resistance will be to the upside. And now, small caps, Russell 2000 IWM ETF. This one finally dipped below this pivot point and below the 20-day moving average. Now it's way below that. This one's not looking good. For this one, the path of least resistance is south. It could have easily pushed about the 20-day moving average this morning, but it tried and it was rejected and it immediately dipped down from there, closing way below that 20-day moving average. Path of least resistance for this one is down. This one had been the strongest of all the indices in a relatively basis because it was holding above the 20-day moving average and somewhat above the 5 and the 10-day moving average. But today changed all that. And I think we see 191 before we see 207. That's just my opinion. Play a session by session. Thanks for stopping by and good luck trading tomorrow. And remember, this is a news driven environment, so some of my decisions are based not just on technicals, not just on the charts, but also on news. It can happen anytime, any day, and overnight gaps are very risky.